road again, but I'm headed to a job, sorta, kind of a job. I am going to do some painting. It is cold in Ohio, but the roads, as you can see, are nice and dry and clear. Ooh, I'm speeding. Look at there. Get back to 60. And as I say in every one of my driving videos, I'm running late. I always get started later than I think. This whole not being able to sleep can become quite tiresome. Ugh. I'm just lucky I can function pretty decently on 3 or 4 hours of sleep. I always wonder what it would be like if I slept like a normal person. Do I ever go on about the condition of our roads, of our infrastructure? I think if anybody ever travels overseas, you come back, that's when you can really notice it. It's not like this everywhere. Hopefully, I'm not going to get political, but hopefully those people we pay to represent us start looking out for stuff like that. Okay, but I wanted to do a video today a little bit about driving. I made a video a while back and somebody kind of suggested that I mention some ideas I have. And again, I don't claim to be the world's greatest driver, but I do think I'm in the top 5. Ba-doom-bop, that's a joke. But when I was growing up, I grew up with a grandfather who used to drive semi, and then he had stopped, but both his brothers were semi-drivers. So you learn a lot of things about semi, about how to handle the roads and share the roads with semis. Now, if you notice now, I'm doing right about the speed limit. And I think if you're driving an RV, if you're in a car, you take the most right available lane. The other lanes are called passing lanes. Just imagine, for all the excuses we all give of not using the right lane, what if semi-drivers all did that? Now, I will admit and give into, if you're going through a city and it's like a lot of traffic and it's bad, okay, yeah, I get getting in the center lane. I do it sometimes myself. But my biggest goal is always to stay as far right as possible. And it's so bad that when I'm driving my car, I drive this section quite a bit in my car, most times I can run 15 miles an hour over the speed limit in the far right lane, passing everybody because nobody wants to drive in the right lane for some reason. So I think the first lesson to learn about driving is you're driving, you're not pointing a vehicle, be interactive. And another real important thing is just be considerate of other drivers. The person entering the highway, like right here, there's a yield sign right there. When you're on the highway, you're not obligated to yield for someone gaining entrance to the highway. But it's a good thing to do. When you can, move over, let somebody get in, and then get back wherever you want to be. And I think that's a big reason why a lot of people, especially RVers, tend to stick in the center lane, because they don't want to have to worry about merging traffic. Well, you're driving. That's part of what you're supposed to do. My biggest personal pet peeve are the people that hang out in the far left lane when nobody else around. They're just getting out all the way left, gonna do whatever speed they're doing, sometimes just the speed limit, and they're not moving. It drives me insane, because that's not driving. You know, in some states put signs on the road that says, stay right except to pass. That's what driving's about. You know, stay far right, pass when you need to, get back right. like I said in that older video, somebody suggested I do this. I will give you a clue from having known a lot of truck drivers. Now, it's been a while. I don't know a lot now. So if there's truck drivers out there and I touch on something you either agree with or disagree, or I miss something that you think needs to be noticed, put a comment in. Please, please, please. Let's help truck drivers. A lot of them don't like RV drivers at all. Really just don't like them, because a lot of times people are driving something they're either not comfortable with, or in some senses not even really capable of driving. So the first thing you need to do is, whatever vehicle you're driving, you need to be able to drive your vehicle. Truck drivers have CBs. Truck drivers will pay people back. Trust me, I've heard lots of stories of what they used to do, and my guess is not much better now, because everybody's far less tolerant of everybody else than they were just a few years ago. We've become a very me-centered society, so it can often show up on the roads. So be warned that they will use their CBs to pay you back, and they will do things to pay you back. I have witnessed it to others, and I've heard, like I said, constant stories. I'm on my way. I got a late start. That was my call telling me, where are you at? Not happy. So yeah, treat people with respect when you're driving. On that whole lane management thing, if you're not going to do the speed limit, for sure stay right. I've told here a few times that I drive usually 62, and even here on this highway it's 70. If I start seeing that I'm messing people up, I'll speed up. I don't want to be in people's way. When I mentioned that truck drivers don't tend to like RVers, a good way to know that is park overnight in a truck stop. Sometimes they will park to make your life difficult. And it's not always fair, because not every RV driver is bad. But you got to remember, even if you're driving a large motorhome, semi-drivers handling a lot more. And it's their job. Remember that part. They're at work. This is what they do for a living. And they already deal with a lot. They're dealing with the same bad roads. They're dealing with idiot drivers that I'm sure we have all watched when we're driving, looking at somebody knowing, yep, he's about to do something stupid. So be conscientious to them. If they have their turn signal on, trying to get in front of you, when they're clear, flash their headlights. If you're trying to do the same and they flash their headlights, I always to say thank you. I appreciate your generosity. To remember too that if you're driving 60 miles an hour and you look away for 1 second, you've traveled 80 feet. So that's about 8 car lengths. Be proactive, not reactive. I think I'm a good driver even when I drive really fast, but I check my mirrors often. You know, I always look at what's coming up and think what could happen. I like to know who's around me in case I have to do something quickly. So I keep my eyes on my mirrors all the time. If I ever get up to this guy, we'll talk about drafting. This can be a touchy subject because some truck drivers really don't like it, and can you blame them, somebody riding their butt? But you don't have to do what you might think you have to do in order to draft. The first thing with drafting is, everybody should already know, if you can't see a semi's mirrors, they obviously can't see you. You're driving an RV, you understand the same thing. What I do, I always want to be where they can see me in the mirrors, and I slide over from time to time to remind them that I'm there. You know, just to say, I'm still back here. And if a semi driver gives you a sign that they don't want you drafting them, don't. Because as we all know, when somebody's bothering us, one or two things happen. we get mad and do something stupid, or people will get nervous. Especially like if you're drafting another RV, you'll notice many times getting on people's butt, they get very nervous, and when people get nervous, they will do stupid things. And even if you're drafting like in a car and you're going fast, I always like to get my rabbit. I'll call him a rabbit. If I find somebody running about the same speed I want to run, I let them flush out the cops. But my problem always is I end up being the rabbit. But in those scenarios, you know, give some distance. You know, give a good quarter mile to your rabbit where you can keep him in sight. Because if you're right behind him and he flushes out a cop, he's going to get both of you. But here's the gee whiz facts. If you're 100 feet behind a semi, it's calculated that you're going to save 10% on your fuel and increase in miles per gallon. That's pretty good, 100 feet. This is where I'm at now. That's about 100 feet. I look at it as 10 car lengths. I know the GoPro doesn't give good distance when you're looking at a camera, but I'm about 100 feet. I can see his mirrors. He can see that I'm back here. I'm saving about 10% on gas. Now, if I get to 50 feet, let's see if we can close in. I'd call this right about 50 feet. I'm saving 20% on my gas. He can still see my mirrors. Everybody's safe, everybody's happy. Now, important to know when you're drafting, don't zone out. You really have to pay attention. Because one, if you're driving an RV, you know it's not going to stop as fast as your car. And if a semi has to do something quick, you need to be paying attention. So if you're not capable of still driving and not zoning out, drafting's not a good idea. Now I'm probably about 40 feet behind him. And I can't totally see his mirrors, but I'm riding off to the side now a little bit, and I can see his mirrors, and I know he knows I'm back here. If you get to 20 feet, which you should never do, you should never draft somebody at 20 feet. Now, I'd give you a ticket, and I don't like people getting tickets. But you're going to save 27% of gas. 10 feet, insane. That's one car length behind on a highway speeds. That's insane. You're looking to get somebody killed, and the semi will not stand for that. You know, if you're out of traffic and at speed, they're not going to take that. Nor should they, nor would you want anybody riding 10 feet off of you. But it is 40%, which is crazy. But don't do it. But if you get even closer than that, it actually goes down. So for me, I'd say right now I'm right about 50 feet. And that's about as much as I do. I'll save my 20% of gas at 50 feet. Keep letting them know I'm back here. I might be different than a lot of people because I actually really, really enjoy driving. I'm the type that will go for a drive for no real reason. But a lot of people you meet on the highways are not. They're preoccupied with stuff. We got too many distractions. You know, everybody's on their cell phone. And I do it from time to time if I'm checking Gas Buddy for something. But we have to avoid those. And in this day and age, it's important to assume that everybody you're seeing on the highway is at least talking on their phone and might not be mentally 100% into what they're doing, or talking to YouTube. You know, sometimes that can be bad, but I think I do all right. I don't think it's dangerous. When I have it mounted, if I'm holding the camera, well, I shouldn't do that. But I guess I just called myself out, which makes this even funnier. See, now I'm moving over to let him catch me in his mirror. Assume they're texting, putting on makeup, eating their breakfast, reading papers. I mean, the things that people do are mind-boggling. This is just a small Class B, so it's not a big deal. But if you're driving a bigger RV, be ready for stupid, because you're going to see it out there on the highways. And And all I'm saying is don't contribute to it by messing with semis. They don't like it, and they don't deserve it in most times. They give you good hints. It's like being able to read a river. You can tell a lot what's coming up by semis. Everybody should know that sometimes you look on the other side of the highway over there, and if people are flashing their lights, that means there's a policeman up in front of you with bad intentions. I flash my lights. I guess that supposedly you can get in trouble for that, but get ready, because people do silly stuff when cops are around. People see a cop and they'll slow down 10 miles an hour on the speed limit. So that's my ramble about driving. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody in any ways. My only intentions is try to share an opinion, which you may disagree with, which is cool. But I think these, for me, I find these to be good rules to drive the roads by. Pay attention to what you're doing, have a little fun, enjoy what you're doing, and be conscientious to other people. Plan ahead. You know, if you see an entrance ramp like this, check your mirror, see what's going on. Be ready to slow down if you can help somebody, or be ready for somebody just not to care. I don't know about you, but I've been door handle to door handle where I had nowhere to go because somebody's just going to drive on the highway. It's not a race. It took me a long, long time to learn that. But be careful on the roads, and so you can get to your destination with a little less stress. The journey's supposed to be fun, so don't look at driving as a fight or as a battle. That's my viewpoint. Hope it's something. But be safe on the road so you can have a great and wonderful day.